welcome back to another segment, another chat of Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. Welcome back, Johann.
Thank you.
As we've said, Johann is a relative of ours. He knew Kim, visited Kim, informed us as we found out different things that were going on along Kim's journey, and we became closer over the years. So today I'd like to chat about something that happened to a friend. She was becoming increasingly tired. Very upbeat, go-getter, positive lady, doesn't suffer with depression, healthy-ish diet, and she tried everything she could from reading, vitamins, and she then her doctors decided to do some tests, and she came back with thyroid issue, hypothyroidism. Is that correct?
Correct, that sounds right.
So what is the link there between tiredness and
fatigue?
Yeah, and what could she do about it?
It's actually an interesting point that you mentioned, that she started noticing a tiredness. It could have been multiple factors, but they went and detected this particular enzyme deficiency, hormone deficiency. And the combination of the hormone functions in the body, they don't just isolate one particular area, like the thyroid. You've also got the adrenal gland, you've got the hypothalamus in the brain, you've got thymus, you've got aparothyroid glands, you've got generally lymph functions in the body, and you've got aspects of all these synchronized. It's like a feedback system. It's a chain, and it's controlled from the central part of the brain in front here by the hypothalamus. And it does send out almost a message to say, listen, I need more of that, my body is doing this, produce a bit more thyroid, and I need that because that provides me energy. It metabolizes. It is the metabolism. It's an orchestra for metabolizing a lot of your aspects of your well-being. And it grabs at all the other hormone feeding in to this feedback system.
Yeah, how would you put on weight with hypothyroidism? If you're,
you would isolatedly, yes, you could. Isolatedly, meaning it's extremely bad. But usually it's a combination of things. But in hypothyroidism, it is one of the features. Lassitude, lovely word. This means more inability to want to go get it. That energy is just slagging. And you see changes, your hair, your skin, and you just feel depressed or down, and your vision can be even affected. Lots of things change. But it's, as I said, this feedback is interrupted or not working too well.
Is there a specific cause now?
It's usually specifically in the thyroid. The thyroid has breakdown. The tissues just don't manufacture the thyroxine, which is one of the actually T1, T3, and there are different TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone. They're all part of a production that comes there through the stimulus from the brain to remind the thyroid, I need this, I must have more of that. And those are then measured as deficient in more of one or less of the other. And I won't go into the academics about it.
When she went, they asked her, is it genetic? How interesting
would it is. All our bodies are connected to our parents or our grandparents because we have a gene chain which comes through life, and you've got certain things you may have more predisposition to.
Interesting.
And in her case, in your particular family case, it could be your friend's family case. One of the family may have suffered similarly, and there's another condition that's very genetically tied up. It's called goiters. The goiters when the thyroid actually grows to be big and there's this big lump in the throat. And you're not necessarily that ill because of the size of the thyroid, but it's because it's not producing enough. It's overproducing. It's producing more tissue to try and compensate for its inability to produce more hormone to keep you energized. So the goiter becomes a little bigger and bigger, and it's based on the fact there's an iodine deficiency. Now, iodine is a very strange phenomenon. It's part of our life. It's a trace element. It's in all our waters, our supplies, our foods, everywhere. Iodine is vital to having certain functions take place. It's called a coenzyme factor, but don't worry about that. It's too technical.
But now, I know my my aunt and my mom, they all had hypothyroidism. That's the
Right.
sluggish thyroid, and they all
Yeah.
got big scars. So was it in the old days? Did they used to?
Well, they used to do
cut?
biopsies, and they also did partial thyroidectomies. And the goiters, when they said it was a goiter, they may have even early days done a biopsy. It's all to see if there weren't other changes in the gland which could influence future production.
But ultimately,
So-
how are you controlling it with the medication?
You try firstly, you look at the patient's wellness and his general condition, what the levels of these thyroid functions are. If they're low in certain aspects, they're different enzymes and they're different hormones, and they will try and replace it with the one that's most likely to be deficient, that they pick up on the blood sampling. And they can be the T3/4, or it could be the thyroid stimulator, and there are other more sophisticated triiodine, which is a very fancy word for just a different formula of that thyroid hormone. And to replace that, you actually will give the patient a measured tablet.
Okay.
It has so much thyroid in it, T3 or T4. And if it is variable and yours is different, then they'll adjust and give you a different tablet to help you supply the body with the need to have this extra energy. You can also become toxic on the amount of you supplying the patient. You can't give the patient too much because they can actually have toxic reaction.
So to find the diagnosis is a blood test, right?
A blood test is most easier.
That's a simple.
They also scan the thyroid because that's the modern technology, and the scanning shows up hot areas or cold areas, nodules. So it's become
It's
a
not
very
life-threatening, it's controlled.
It can be managed. It can be life-threatening if it's, of course, a bit late, because the thyroid influences a lot of our other organs, especially our cardiac function. Very important. So we've got to see these things not as an isolation, rather than as the hemodynamics of the body. That's why this chain of events in our body are very important to have hormones play a role, the food we eat play a role, our particular wellness in our defense mechanisms play a role. All these add up to the whole body. So you're not living in isolation with your thyroid. Your thyroid is
true.
part of everything. So you can look after it. Yeah.
Thank you very
Great.
much. It was
Lovely.
very interesting. Thank you once
Interesting.
again
Good,
for
good.
your time, and I trust you all
Fantastic.
enjoyed that segment. Till next
Okay.
time.